guys catch 90 Day Fiance the other way? That's what we're talking about today. So, we're going to just dive right on in here. So, we start off with Jen, and she's getting in the cab and she's on her way to Rishi's region where he lives in India. And she's so excited. And you know what it's like when you're, like you've had a long flight, you can't wait to see the person that you want to see after so long. So, she's talking a mile a minute. And, the cab driver is like, honey, he could care less. And she's just going on and on. And he's probably thinking, these goddamn Americans, at least just pay me my money and let me just drive in peace, okay? So, so now over to Rishi, he tells his mom that he's going to go to the gym, okay? AKA go meet his fiance that he did not even bother to tell his mother about while she is actively in pursuit of a bride for him. This cannot, it writes itself. I mean, what can you say? So then we catch up with Isabel. So she picks up Gabe from the airport. They have a great reunion. It was very beautiful and everything. And Gabe is so like laser focused. Did you notice how like he didn't even pay attention to the kids? And I was like, Isabel, that's flag number one right there. I mean, I know he's happy to see you and he's supposed to be happy to see you, but I mean, he needs to also, let the kids know from the airport basically that you guys are a package deal and he's not going to leave you out. I'm telling you, like the optics look really bad on that. I mean, maybe some people would disagree. I mean, I know he's just so happy to be in her embrace and everything like that, but I just you got to bring those kids into that hug like right away, I feel like, and then you can do like your solo, bonding a little bit later. So that's just my opinion on that. But so then we catch up with Jamie and Chris. So it's their first day. They wake up together. They had a nice night, and then they start going into the whole apartment situation. And basically, Jamie found that apartment without Chris. And I don't know what the agreement was. Did they talk about this before? Like, hey, when you find a place, video call me or something like that. Because Jamie was like, yeah, I want $100 over. Like, oh well, and Chris is not too happy about that because she had to sell her house. I don't know if she's still in the process of selling her house, but her funds are limited, and we're gonna find out that girlfriend has a bevy of health issues. Okay. Which make it a little bit expensive down the road. So no, that's why she was probably tripping out about that $100. But she didn't have her toothpaste with her and she's allergic to mint. So she's got to get some kids' toothpaste. And, Jimmy's like, oh, okay. But I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you not have toothpaste? Like, like that's something that it would seem like you would make sure you would have, like, if you're going to have like a romantic interlude, don't be waking up talking with the dragon breath, right? Come on, you're going to kill it, like, before you've even been there for a week. So now we catch up with Mahmoud and Nicole. So his cousin picks them up, and he's insisting that they live with his mother. Now, when we get to that house, he's got his brother and his wife and all of her kids. I mean, they got a tribe. There were a lot of children in the house. And then he has another brother who lives there. And I think his sister lives there with her husband and the mom. Now it's going to be Nicole. And Nicole, listen, she's an American girl. She's used to her space. And she's a little bit of an introvert, which, I feel like, just to kind of, get off the topic for a second, have you noticed a lot of people have been using the term introvert lately? And I feel like it really doesn't apply to them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But anyway, she seems like she is a little bit of an introvert. She's kind of soft spoken and stuff. So I could see how that would be intimidating. And like for me, I would not want to see that right away. Like I would want to, come to the country, greet you, see you, spend, like a few hours together or maybe the first night together, then like go see the family, right? But there was no hotel or anything like that set up. He's like, nope, this is how we do it. This is Egypt. We live with my mother and that's it. We're going to be like a big old tribe and, and I don't think she's going to be able to get used to that. She already left once, right? So I just can't imagine. Oh, God. Okay, there we go. Internet's being funny today. So, so she gets there and she's greeted by everybody, and she starts talking to the sister-in-law. The sister-in-law, whose name is Fatima. I'm assuming that's her name that she got when she moved to China, because from what I understand, her sister-in-law Fatima is from China, and she converted for her husband, which is Mahmoud's brother. So Fatima, she's all, wearing her hijab, and she's like, seems, at least from the outside, it appears as though she has, what's the word? Acclimated, or what's the other word I'm thinking of? Assimilated into Egyptian culture, including the Muslim religion, because not all Egyptians are Muslim. Some are Jewish, some are, whatever, different religions, Christian. There's different religions throughout the Middle East. Not everybody's Muslim, but she has seemed to have, fallen in with the culture. And Nicole's looking at that, and she's probably thinking to herself, like, okay, because we remember we heard on last week. So last week, by the way, I did do the review, but something happened and I had to erase it. So I'm gonna be probably bringing in, or not probably, I will be bringing in little snippets of what happened last episode as well, since I didn't get a chance to review to post that video anyway. So, and the last episode, last week, we saw Mahmoud sitting down with his two brothers, and one of his brothers was saying how, like, hey, listen, um, it's possible my wife, she's from China, she came here and she got used to it or whatever. And Nicole will get used to it too. But what he's not taking into account is that, you know, each each and every individual is different. And China's a huge country, right? There's different regions. Maybe where she's from, maybe maybe she grew up around Muslim. Maybe Fatima, growing up in China, grew up around some Muslim populations or something. Maybe it wasn't so foreign to her. I mean, we don't know all the background on Fatima yet, but I found Fatima to be quite fascinating, because I think it's going to be this sort of mirror image that is going to be expected, maybe from the family members, but mainly from Nicole, looking at her sister-in-law saying, oh man, look, they're going to be looking at me like, why can't you get on board like she does, like she did, and I think that's going to create an additional pressure. And she's already spoken about them, living someplace else, but for right now she's there, and everybody's just, they keep feeding her, and they, the thing is that they really love her. I mean, the love from his family is definitely apparent. Like, the kids love her, the mom just loves her. And of course they want to see their male family member, his marriage to work out. I just feel as though, I don't know. And did you notice, like, how he's trying to smile through everything? He's like, no, honey, we'll talk about it later. No, honey, not right now. Okay, we're just gonna do this, honey. Okay, honey. Like, he's really trying not to, I'm sitting over here, like, trying not to, like, imitate accents, because it's like, it's, I don't know. Anyway, but, he's trying to, like, keep her in a good mood, but she wants to talk about the clothing stuff right away. And, I mean, I understand that that bothers her, but I just kind of felt like maybe, you know, just have the first day, right? If no one has, come to an agreement on getting a hotel for the night, and it's agreed upon you're going to sleep there the first night, and then maybe tomorrow you nail into his ass about having him, have you button up your jacket at the airport and stuff like that. To me, that was unnecessary. But again, um, it's, while I don't agree with these cultural practices, I think probably last week's episode, or Sunday night's episode, did kind of give me more of a bird's eye view, maybe from his lens. Like, okay, because it's hard to remove yourself as an American, right? Because we're used to our freedoms and liberties, blah, 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 right? It's hard to imagine sometimes, when you've never been to a country that has such strict, impositions on women and stuff like that, to think how they think, right? So I'm trying to think, like, from his perspective, and I'm thinking, like, how he's he's so used to it. And it's just, if you've been in an environment where it's never been challenged, then it makes sense that he thinks the way that he does. Not that I agree with it whatsoever, but it's like he's a product of his environment, basically, right? So I think it's going to be just too hard for her, and I think she needs to come back home. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so she's talking to Fatima, and Fatima is like telling her, like, you know what, because she's saying, like, you had a lot of friends back home and stuff like that. And she's like, you have too much friends in America. I think she means like so many, not too many. And she's like, yeah, I have a lot of friends. I have an active lifestyle and everything. And she's like, well, over here, like, I don't really have a lot of friends. And she's like, you don't need friends. You have us, you have the family. And some families do operate like that. And especially families that have a lot of siblings and stuff like this. I know families like that. They have a few friends, but they basically kind of hang out with their brothers and sisters. Some families can be that way, but this is different. These are not her brothers and sisters, right? I mean, well, through marriage they are now, but she doesn't speak the language. Come on, I think only Fatima and Mahmoud speak English, so then that limits interaction that she'll be able to have. She's going to have to learn Arabic. I mean, that's just first and foremost. So now we get to Debbie. Oh, Deb. Oh my God. Oh, Debbie. Oh, Debbie. So since we missed last week's episode, Debbie, okay, listen. I don't know, like, for in terms of reality TV, she is picked from Central Casting, okay? TV Gold, we got a gold star. Debbie is off the hook. Debbie, 67 years old, from Georgia. She's engaged to Osama. I think he's 24 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Honey, that is, and if you did the math, technically she could be his grandmother. Okay? And, but she's like, look, I'm divorced. My husband treated me like crap. I know my son is not here for any of this nonsense, but you know what? I'm old. I'm living my life. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And, I think this is crazy. I do think it's crazy. Has she considered everything? I don't think that she has. Um, I don't even know what to say, but she's so eccentric, and I just love her. And I know when I'm going to be an older woman, that's going to be me with all my beaded necklaces and all my earrings and all my artwork and all this stuff. And, Debbie is like, Debbie is so fucking cool. I don't know. She's cool and she's crazy at the same time. So she's on her way to her attorney's office because she wants to get some, I guess, what kind of was it? Some prenup. That's right. She went there to get some prenup stuff taken care of, get some information from the attorney. And her son's driving her, who's a policeman, by the way. So, he's completely skeptical. He is not for any of this. He's just like, oh my God, like, what is my mother doing? He's like, I don't trust Osama for nothing. So now we see Jen, okay, and she meets up with her Prince Rishi. They have their reunion, which was nice. And he has, he presents to her a little love pad that he's had set up this apartment. And it's furnished, and it's way nicer than what we saw at his place, where he lives with his mom. And so they're just talking and stuff like that. And then he has to keep an eye on the time because Cinderella has to get back home to the wicked stepmother before 6 p.m. or whatever the hell time it is, before they come looking for him or something. And and she's like sitting here and she's thinking, listen, this is good, we have this nice reunion and everything, but I just want to take things slow. I don't want to jump right in, because the thing is, in the back of her head, she's remembering her friends who kind of catfished him, right, trying to see if he'd take the bait. And he kind of did, but not all the way. So now she's like, okay, I still got these voices in the back of my head, so let me just take my time. And he seems disappointed because he's thinking, before my pumpkin changes, I mean, we're not going to like get it on. Like, what's going on? He's a little disappointed because, he thinks he is the finest thing, honey. You cannot tell him he is not the only Indian. Fabio, honey, he is just, he's delicious. You can't tell him he's not. So, so Oh my God. Oh my God. So now we go to Jamie and Chris. So now they're at the pharmacy. And Americans, we can come with a lot of shit. That's just what it is, right? We don't eat this, we don't eat that, we're allergic to this, we have a sensitivity to that. I mean, I know other countries have stuff like that too, but it feels like Americans, like we're the worst. And then when we go abroad, it looks like, oh my God, these entitled people, what's the matter with them? Why can't they just relax? And that's what Jamie was giving me when she's looking at Chris and in that pharmacy, and she's like, okay, get your toothpaste. And then when Chris drops this bomb about her neck injury, oh Lord, why did she do that? Why did she do that? She was like, "Yeah, I got something back here in my neck, and I'm gonna have surgery, and I can't move it all the way to the side, and I can't go quite that way, but I'm just gonna suffer till I can just yeah, till I just can't no more, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and get my surgery." And Jamie's looking at her like, "Get." You wait till you get here to tell me that you need to have a surgery. And I think for Chris, it's kind of like, I have a back injury, and you live with the pain. And for her, it's like, okay, I just been dealing with this forever, but eventually I want to get it taken care of. She's not saying I'm going to get it done next week, but to Jamie, it feels like, wait, you need to get this taken care of right away, and you're saying that you're going to have to do it here. And she's like, yeah, because it's going to take about a year, and they're going to have to put some pins in my neck, and I'm not going to be able to move like this. And it's just, yeah, for about a year. She's like, a year? Oh, wait a minute. What happened to my little love nest I thought I was going to have with my apartment that's $100 over? Which, by the way, Jamie said she's going to help with a lot of expenses. She is on a 30-day vacation, so it's good that she took time off, or she was able to take time off to spend time with Chris and stuff like that. To kind of get to know one another, and she's going to be kind of helping out, financially. So I'm kind of glad that, well, not glad, I really don't care, but it's I think Chris's fear is that she's going to get there and be expected to pay for everything, but Jamie is stepping up and saying, no, it's okay. I got things, I got my fair share as well. So she insists on paying for the toothpaste and the pain meds for her neck. And Jamie's just Jamie's not quite the happiest camper right now. It's like now there's like a couple of red flags going on for Jamie. And so now we go to Jen and Rishi, and so she wakes up, and well, she realizes that when she first walked into the apartment, oh, it's furnished, this is nice. But then she didn't realize until after he left that there were some key essentials missing. Okay. Apparently he didn't fill things out the way, give her some, the basics that she needed. So she wakes up to a cold, empty apartment, right? She's got no blanket, no heat, no toilet paper. I said, what the hell was this man thinking? At least a roll of toilet paper. Like, how was she washing her butt? Like, oh my goodness. So anyway, he brings over a heater and a yoga mat. And I'm like, a yoga mat on the first day? I mean, it'd be different if, like, that's yoga's the thing that they bonded over. It didn't quite seem to be the case. But I guess that's very important to him, or whatever. It's part of his culture. And you guys remember with Jenny and Submit, remember how their parents would go to the rooftop and do yoga. So, it's part of their cultural practice. I can understand that. But I don't know if I want to be doing that the first morning after I've flown all these damn days on an airplane, sitting here talking to a cab driver who doesn't even respond, trying to see your butt. But anyway, so they go up to the rooftop, and, they start doing the yoga. And I was like, okay, listen, I'm going to be very petty right now. But did you see Rishi's feet? I was like, damn, don't you like wash your feet before they put that camera on you? It was like very like, when you're doing yoga, I don't think your feet's supposed to get that dirty. So they're doing the different positions, and then he shows her this picture on his cell phone where it looks like she's like Superman suspended in the air, and he's just holding her up by his thigh or something like that. And she's like, "You want me to do that?" She's like, "Don't forget, I'm a little bit older than you. Didn't come over here to start breaking bones on the first morning." But that's part of him trying to show off because he thinks he's so fine, right? And she's sitting over here trying to get in a position and moving her arm and stuff like that. He's so busy trying to do that downward dog. He needs to worry about furnishing that apartment is what he needs to worry about doing, like getting, some essentials, some cooking things and stuff. How's she supposed to eat? Is she expected to like go out, and to the restaurant every day or something? I'm not really sure about that. So then she asked him if he hooked up with any women. And he was like, oh, no, I didn't. She keeps pressing him and pressing him. And then eventually he's like, well, I've had conversations with people, but, I've been holding myself off, been holding myself out waiting for you. And then he says in the confessional, like, oh, I'm hurt by that. I've been saving myself and stuff like that. Now, Rishi, I just don't know him well enough to know if he has been seeing other people. I would imagine he has been, right? Because he's not taking the relationship seriously because he didn't even tell his mom about it. But I am going to leave him just a little bit of room, just a little bit of room. Okay, not too much, but just a little bit of room because, those cultural considerations and, Indian families, they are very, very, like, they really, really respect their parents, right? So, sometimes I know that can be kind of difficult explaining something to them that may seem kind of out of whack, but, he had 2 years basically to prepare his mother for the idea that, they're together. So, anyway, so now Mahmoud and Nicole are sitting there and they're talking about, the living situation, and she really wants to move out. She's like, this is making me anxious. I live alone. I'm not used to living with all these people. I mean, that is so many people. I mean, it looked like, was I counting like 18, 19 people? It seems something like that, like definitely in the double digits. Like, I couldn't live with that many people. I just couldn't. There's no way that I could live with that many people. So, now he wants her and his mom to like, wait a minute, what did he say? He wants her. Oh, I don't even know what that was. I'll get back to them later. Oh, he said to her that she can't leave, basically. He's like, no, no, we're just, but he's doing it with a smile, like, no, honey, we'll stay here and we'll just, this is how it is in Egypt. This is how we do it. And she's like, but I'm not happy like this. And he needs to think in his head, she already left. If you want to keep your wife, you got to at least give her something. You cannot tell her you're going to move her into a house just full of people, big hearts, lots of love and lots of smiles and stuff like that, lots of food, that's good, but that may not be able, your living situation is core. If you don't have that how you need it to be, then I mean, you could definitely, that can kill a marriage. On top of all this, how she has to dress and stuff like that. I'm like, Nicole, girl, what did you get yourself into? And this is not the first time, right? The family, she already lived there for, was it 2 months before when they first got married, before she went back to the States and got sick of it. So she already knows what she's coming back to. Why didn't you put down some requisites or something? Okay, when I get there, you already have to have the apartment set up. When I get there, blah 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 blah. The compromise can be maybe it's not too far from your mom's house or something like that. Like she's moving right back into the same situation. Isn't that like the definition of insanity, like what they say? So Jin and Rishi, they're back together, right? And he's clad in his off-shoulder yellow 1980s a la Olivia Newton-John workout outfit. I was like, look at Rishi. Rishi's like, you know what? You're gonna get these shoulders. You're gonna get all of this because I'm here on on international television, and you are going to get every ounce of all this brownness. He is so, Rishi is something else. The way he's always like, flipping that hair, and it's not even thick, right? It's like, oh my God, Rishi, you are too much. So they go shopping for an Indian dress. And she's like, okay, to go meet his mom. So, they're in the dress shop and like the he's showing, the salesperson is showing her different options and things like that. And she's like, that's kind of a bit much. And, it was like, like an Indian ball gown almost. It was pretty fancy, like just to be meeting his mom. And she's like, but why do you need me to be dressed so fancy? And she's saying to the sales shop owner, like, or to the clerk or whatever, like, you know, this is for a first time meet. Don't you think this is a bit over the top? And he's like, yeah, it is a bit much, right? And only when she pressed him did he admit that. And then Rishi's like, no, this is just, I want her to see you, like embracing the culture and stuff like that. And, I'll introduce you as my friend. And then, later on, we can kind of work her into that we're in a relationship kind of thing. And she was like, it was like you could hear the wheels go, she was like, friend, excuse me? Wait a minute. I waited for you for 2 years. We finally do this. I'm finally here to start my life with you. And you have not even told your mom that we're together? Like, that was a slap in the face. And, like I said, I give him a little bit of leeway, but he had more time. It's not like this was like a 6 month thing. I can see if it's 6 months and you're still trying to figure out, like, is this gonna work or something like that. But hey, if you decided that you're engaged to this woman, then you gotta let her know. She's like, wait a minute, I thought you said that your parents, gave you the option of a free choosing or love marriage versus an arranged marriage, and you chose the love marriage, and they just have to accept me, and as long as you've chosen me, and blah blah blah. And he's like, humming, right, just like stuttering and stuff. He's like, oh, I don't know. And she's so pissed. She's like, you know what, F this, I don't even want to meet the family now. And you can't blame her. Like, but all of these people are stupid as far as I'm concerned, because a lot of this stuff really, really could have been avoided. I mean, come on. So, I mean, that's pretty much where I left off. I don't have anything more else to say about these couples this week. But hey, listen, guys, we'll catch up and see what they're doing. We got to see what's going on with Johan and Danielle, honey, because she is a mess with that whole butcher shop. My goodness, and the flies and all of that. So we'll talk next week. If you guys want to check me out on Thursday, I'll be here on Thursday for Married at First Sight, and I'll be back on Saturday for Love After Lockup. So that's it. I hope you guys are staying safe. Take care of yourselves, and chipi salacho.